Yo, what is good, Jets Nation? Welcome back to Jets Media. This is Richie, and we will be breaking down day number 2 of the Jets training camp that just wrapped up just a few minutes ago. Tomorrow is going to be the first day that fans will be in attendance for training camp, including myself. I cannot wait to be there. But let's get into what happened in today's practice. We're going to go over the injury report, the stars of camp, who are really shining, who are some players that are struggling, and yes, you guessed it. It was another day with the offense with a little sloppiness and the defense getting the better of the offense, which is expected early in camp. Before we get into the video, I do want to mention, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. I got a lot of Jets content coming your way all throughout the rest of the offseason. And if you guys enjoy this video, please do me a gigantic favor by simply hitting that thumbs up button and commenting down below your thoughts and your biggest takeaways from the Jets training camp so far. With that being said, let's get right into what happened. Let's start off with some injuries. Rookie Will McDonald did not practice today. He has a serious leg contusion, but that seems to be not the biggest deal. You know, Robert Saleh said that he's got a little bruise on his leg, so they're going to ease him back. He was on the rehab center this morning, so definitely unfortunate to see our rookie not be able to get practice early on in camp, but the fact that it's just a leg contusion, not the end of the world. He'll probably be back in a couple days, if not a week or two, but that's really the only injury news. Nothing else outside of that. I think Irvin Charles, wide receiver, got banged up today as well, but don't know the extent of that injury. Outside of the injury news, let's get into what happened on the practice field. Like I said at the top of the video, sloppy offense. A lot of drops today. Allen Lazard, Michael Carter, and Garrett Wilson all had some drops. And listen, it's really, we have to understand that when you're installing a brand new offense with a brand new offensive coordinator, with a brand new quarterback, with a brand new entire offensive coaching staff, brand new offensive line coach, brand new wide receivers coach, brand new quarterback coaches, it's all going to really trickle down onto these players in their minds, because the fundamentals are going to be a little sloppy early on, is my point. So there's going to be early drops in camp, because what Garrett Wilson, what all these players are really focusing in on is getting on the same page of the verbiage and installing of this offense. And that's really what the training camp is all about. And OTAs, of course, early on in June, is figuring out and getting everybody on the same page. So the sloppiness is expected, but it's up to the New York Jets coaching staff offensively and Aaron Rodgers, of course, to really expedite it and really understand that these mistakes cannot continue. They have to learn from their mistakes and not let them replicate, right? So the fact that they have the drops case early on in camp, not the end of the world. The sloppiness will hopefully get cleaned up in the next couple of weeks. But again, early on in camp, definitely not my biggest concern, because the defense is in year number 3. They got the continuity over the offense. I said that in my last recap yesterday in training camp practice number 1, that the defense has all the momentum heading into camp over the offense, because the offense is really trying new things out, and that's really what it comes down to. So, let's get into some players that actually look good, though, in camp individually. So running back Michael Carter has been getting the boatload of the number one running back snaps, because Breece Hall is not practicing with his ACL rehab. And, you know, the Jets don't have Dalvin Cook yet. Will he be his New York Jet soon? We will find out. But Michael Carter is really looking good. And according to this tweet, it seems like he is sparking in practice. He is a player that's kind of polarizing among some Jets fans, I've noticed, because in year number 1, Michael Carter was a really freaking good rookie, to the point where some Jets fans heading into that offseason, remember, we're like, we don't need another running back in the draft. Like, we're good with Michael Carter. And then the Jets trade up to get Breece Hall, and we're like, oh, wow, this Jets team is not messing around. All right, Breece Hall, Michael Carter, 1-2 punch. We'll take it. But Michael Carter in year number 2 definitely had an underwhelming season, if you really look at it from the perspective of having high expectations for him going into year number 2. But I think a lot of odds were stacked against Michael Carter. Injuries to the offensive line, the quarterback play does not help a running back when the defense is just completely stacking the box and not opening up any holes for the running backs to do anything. Not really making an excuse for Michael Carter, but I really think there was not a lot of factors to benefit Michael Carter in year number 2. So I'm really excited to see what he does in year number 3. He's a slippery running back that has really good balance, really good hands, and can make people miss in the open field. He's not that home run hitter type of running back that can take it the distance, like 80-yard touchdowns, but he can pick up those first downs, be reliable, get explosive plays, and I'm excited for Michael Carter. And I really do think that even if the Jets do land Dalvin Cook, a 1-2 punch of Hall and Cook does not mean that Michael Carter's not going to still be involved in the offense. Nathaniel Hackett is known to really use all the running backs that's active every single Sunday. So Michael Carter, I cannot wait to see what you do. And even if the Jets don't land Dalvin Cook, I think Michael Carter is going to be able to have a big-time impact with the New York Jets this season. So it's really cool to see him shine in camp early on. Now, a wide receiver who has been definitely the talk of the Jets receiver room early in OTAs, and his name was called today in a certain play, and that's undrafted free agent wide receiver Jason Brownlee. So Aaron Rodgers apparently had a nice sideline pass to Jason Brownlee, and then after that catch, Aaron Rodgers patted him on the back, hit him on the helmet. So it's really cool because Aaron Rodgers and Jason Brownlee seems to have a little connection, and that goes back into OTAs. So maybe Jason Brownlee is that player that Aaron Rodgers is really noticing that he has some upside, and maybe he might be the front runner to win that wide receiver 6 spot, because with the trade of Denzel Mims and the acquisition of Erickson yesterday, the Jets have a heavy competition for that wide receiver 6 spot. I think it's going to come down to special teams and ability to be a versatile weapon at that receiver spot to provide depth, and I think Jason Brownlee is definitely a front runner to make the 53-man roster as wide receiver number 6. Really excited to see what he does in the preseason. And another player who has been really the talk of camp, one of my favorite players to watch in the preseason for sure, is going to be undrafted free agent last year, safety Tony Adams. Now, Tony Adams has a big-time camp ahead of him because he is really competing for a starting job at the safety spot. And yeah, Robert Saleh said that himself because Tony Adams made a big-time play in practice today. He had a breakup on a deep pass from Aaron Rodgers to McCall Hardman, which would have been a deep touchdown, but apparently he is becoming that deep safety, that type of center fielder with a lot of range. And that's one of the weaknesses, I'd say, of this Jets defense is they're lacking a true ball hawk, someone that can really be that center fielder, go sideline to sideline, pick the ball off, and prevent deep shots down the field. And Tony Adams is that guy. Now, we have Jordan Whitehead. We signed Adrian Amos, but I really think that Tony Adams has a chance here to fight for a starting job. And if not, he can really fight in certain packages. And I think Tony Adams really impressed me last year when he got those reps. And the New York Jets coaching staff absolutely loves Tony Adams. So this is someone to keep in mind as a potential player to fight for a starting job and really break out in year number 2 with the New York Jets. I think that, with Robert Saleh giving him high praise, even though he did say, and Saleh kept saying this, by the way, and Jets fans need to remember, pads are not on yet. Saleh kept saying, yeah, he's looking good running around with pajamas, so let's see what he does with pads going on. So that's something to keep in mind. When pads go on, it's going to be a completely different animal. But shout out to Tony Adams because I'm really excited about him. You should be too. Now let's talk about Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson had an up and down day, showed some promise, showed some struggles. He had a really nice play, and Robbie Sabio has a really good tweet here. One of my favorite beat reporters for the New York Jets, does a great job over there at Jet X Factor. Zach Wilson climbs in the pocket and simply hits Travis Dye, the undrafted free agent running back, and it just shows the progression because that's what Zach Wilson really struggles with the most, just being a quarterback that can drop back, step up into the pocket, go through his reads, and just check it down. And that seems so simple, but those are the things that can really make Zach Wilson a good quarterback, and I'm really excited to see what he does in the preseason. He also had some bad throws where he missed a screen pass, dirted to this. So Zach Wilson's not perfect. We all understand it's going to be ups and downs for Zach Wilson's progression in training camp and preseason, but definitely interesting to see what Zach Wilson's been doing. Another player that we talked about yesterday that had a big-time play again in camp today, defensive tackle Al Woods. He blew up the rookie Izzy up the middle. And listen, if there was pads on, I think that it probably would have been a big crack and would have been a bigger deal. But Robert Saleh was asked about Al Woods in the press conference today, and he's really excited about Al Woods because this is Al Woods' first time in a system like this that's all attack, right? Al Woods is usually that run-stuffing mentality where in his systems in his previous teams with Seattle Seahawks and those guys, they're just using him as a pure run stuffer, where the Jets are really going to unlock his potential and use his quick feet, use his athleticism to not only plug up the holes to stop the run, but allow him the opportunity and the freedom to go after the quarterback. So I think Al Woods is going to be a big-time addition from the New York Jets for that defensive line. Speaking of the defensive line, Michael Clemens and Mekhi Becton have been going at it in camp. That's definitely a good competition to look out for. Michael Clemens got the better of Mekhi Becton on a rep, and then Mekhi Becton was holding holding his ground. It was looking good on certain reps. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. And that's one of my favorite duos, I can say, in terms of camp competitions. Michael Clemens, the big-time monster-looking human being, against a transformed Mekhi Becton. Absolutely love that. And then to finish it off, talk about Aaron Rodgers. Seems like he went 8 of 13, including the drops to Garrett Wilson, Allen Lazard, and Michael Carter. So there was a lot of drops, unfortunately, for the offense. But Aaron Rodgers seems to be very efficient. It also seems like, and I'm not there at practice, I'm going to get a good understanding with my own eyes tomorrow and Sunday when I'm at camp over the weekend. But it seems like Aaron Rodgers is really just trying to slowly implement this offense for the guys around him, because he's going to feel comfortable. It's the offense that he really, constructed with Nathaniel Hackett, but he's really trying to get the guys on the same page, testing deep shots, not trying to force things, and just being a coach on that field. So Aaron Rodgers hasn't been like exploding camp. It's not like he's going out there and just looking like an MVP and just throwing darts and touchdowns, but it does feel like him going up against this elite New York Jets secondary, and it's a lot of tight windows. It's really cool to see what Aaron Rodgers' progression is going to look like for training camp. So that's going to wrap up this video, guys. A lot of fun things coming out of camp today. Another day where the defense gets the better of the offense, but it also feels like the offense's struggles is kind of internal, where like they need to get on the same page. And I think that the defense is great. The defense is definitely has a step ahead of the offense, but according to all the reports and according to Robert Saleh, it really does feel like the offense just really got to get on the same page and understand the verbiage and get a grasp of the playbook. And that's going to come with time. I would not panic just yet about the offense. It's day number 2 of training camp with a brand new offense, brand new personnel, brand new system. So that takes time, and they just got to really fix those mistakes throughout the progression of training camp. And hopefully by, week 2 of the preseason, week 3 of the preseason, leading up to week 1 against the Buffalo Bills, this offense is ready to freaking go. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section, guys. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button if you did not already, and feel free to comment your thoughts and a Statue of Liberty emoji if you stayed all the way until the end of the video. I'll catch you guys next time, and as always, let's go Jets. Cannot wait to be there over the weekend. Woo! See you guys there.